All right. This is time number 2. It's Intention Day again. Oh my gosh. And welcome to Intention Day Live. My goodness, what a way to start. I mean, clearly my energy was just so high. That had to have been it, right, guys? Now, here's the thing, because I already started one stream, and I could not hop back into that live stream. I am essentially gonna have to share this stream again. I'm hoping that I can find my people. So I'm gonna be hopping on just to a couple of places just to let folks know that we've had to start a new stream because we had some issues or some difficulty with the last one. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much. I see the thumbs up. Thank you for being here with me despite the crazy feedback. I can tell you that sometimes we discount what mindfulness and mindset work does for you. But even in simple situations like this, where you literally have an entire experience planned out and you've sent at least 4 or 5 emails, you have social media posts, you have all of these things going. And even if you guys aren't content creators online, you can probably understand when I say that, you go through different things in your life where you are creating something, you're building something new or launching something into the world, or you're building something at work, or you're planning a party. Oh my gosh, even just grateful concert that I went to last week. Is it last week already? I think so. But just thinking through when things start to go sideways after you've put all this energy and effort and all of that into it, you just don't know what can happen. Life is always happening. And so when I talk about mindset work, it's not just to do things like visualize a whole new life and change everything and get rich and get money. It's not always about those things. Sometimes it's just being able to be in a situation where stuff just look like it going sideways, and your bounce back power is just that much better. It comes like that. And the freak out that you start to freak out on the inside, you are able to recognize, okay, Stacy, things going sideways, and you start to freak out. So you need to kind of rally back and bring yourself in alignment, because the freak out not going to get you there. And you start to do the breathing. That was me. I was breathing. I was like, okay, let's just take it easy. Live stream, now stream. So thanks, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. I really and truly appreciate you, and looking forward to this conversation today. So big up yourselves, because you guys are all here. Hi, Kimoy. I see you. Ready for 2025. And I can just say that 2024 for a lot of people was a challenging year. And I've seen the posts out there. Oh my gosh, 2024, I made it. I'm just so grateful. And it's like, it's just this, it's gratitude, but it's gratitude with a heavy heart, if you get what I'm saying. And as we enter into this moment, this experience of our time together, I'm just going to invite you to leave that heaviness at the door, to just leave that feeling of the pressures and whatever was hard, to leave it at the door. Because even as you go through and you do your reflections on the year that has gone by, and you start to process the valleys that you may have gone through, I want you to get that every valley is moving you closer to a victory. Every valley is the pathway to some kind of mountaintop that you are going to. And I have been observing some of the posts from New Year's. Like I've seen where just today I saw somebody post about a New York City shooting yesterday and how many people were injured. 11. I'm not sure if any persons died. Saw that. And then I also observed where you had the New Orleans car thing and the shooting that went along with that, and how many people died in that. Separate and apart from tragic events, I'm also present to people who have lost family members and close friends in just the last couple of days. And for me, I lost family members early during the course of the year. And it just kind of brought me to a place of extraordinary gratitude, because the truth of the matter is, guys, we are not promised anything. We are not promised anything except for this moment. And what a powerful way to declare that you are going to have the best year for yourself. You are going to build momentum. You are going to accelerate your direction, your desires. You are going to do that for yourself in 2025. And it starts with this moment of intention. So, just as I say, guys, big up on yourself for showing up, whether you show up live or you show up for the replay. Just know that everything in your life is on purpose. All right, especially the now moment and how you choose to spend that now moment. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make sure that you guys have whatever supplies you need. And when I say supplies, I don't want them to start freaking out. Okay, don't get all excited. Okay, I want to make sure you have what you need. First things first, I always have my journal. If you guys have not yet gotten your Epic Intentional Journal, I'm not just saying it's nice because it's mine. It actually is really beautiful. So this is one of the pages in the journal. And then it has prompts. So you're not just getting pictures and blank lines. You get some prompts to help you as you're journaling, right? So have the journal here, guys, for you. It's beautifully done and created with intention. So if you don't have one of these, then you want to get your own. If you have a journal, like I have tons of notebooks everywhere. If you do not have a journal, paper, like seriously, paper, get paper. All right, get paper to help yourself. Write it down, put it somewhere, get yourself something that you can write on and with. Okay, now there is one other tool that I have sent out a couple times. I was wheeling away because I wanted to pick up my year of intention document that's on my printer, literally sitting over there hot off the press. Remember that we had all these year of intention books, ebooks, and it's a very comprehensive book. What's actually really cool, guys, is that this year you can actually do your year of intention on your phone or on your laptop, because I have it set up to be digital. So I would have sent you a link to get the workbook, because if you don't have a journal, this is also a really, really great way for you to make notes for yourself. So if you are joining, I'm actually going to just drop it in the comments. I'm going to drop the link for you to get the book emailed to you. Okay, so in the chat, if you don't have the Year of Intention ebook, I'm going to drop a link in the chat so that you can get it sent to you and you can now get your notes all together. Whether you have a journal, you have a piece of paper, whatever it is that you have. So I'm trying to save trees. So I like to make sure that I have things digitally available so that you can actually have access to everything that you need to support your journey forward. Now let's talk about how today's conversation is going to go. So Intention Day is always a special time, and it is my way of keeping myself accountable to my community. And I'll tell you why. I don't know if I told the story last year, but in 2021, I did my first full-on Intention Day where I had groups of people at a specific date. In 2020 is when I got the idea for Intention Day. And I hosted Intention Day, but it was actually in the month of April, because that's when I was doing my whole intention cards launch and all kinds of different things. And you know what, guys? When I was looking back through my phone and I was just looking at the history of the fact that we've been doing this for 5 years, I realized that the reason I show up is not just for me. It could be one person that watches the Intention Day video. Literally, it could be one person. But it is such a wonderful way to start the year, to know that you have even one like-minded person that is interested and invested in taking their life to a different level. So that's what it actually means for me. What it actually means for me is being able to create community with people who are interested, right? So this year, I wanted to combine all the different themes and thoughts that would have gone from prior years and to just remind you guys of the power of intention. And that was actually the theme in 2021. 2021 was all about recognizing that intention actually has power. Intention is not just a goal that you write down. The intention is actually what comes before you even start to write down the goal. You have to have an intention of life change and transformation in order to write down a goal. And I think that's where a lot of people miss it. A lot of people are thinking that intention is this grandiose thing that you have to sit down and figure out. But guys, what is true is that you always are operating from a place of intention. It is already within you. What these conversations do is it helps you to actually steer the direction of your intention. You get what I'm saying? It helps you to steer the direction of your intention. And the reason why that is important, the direction to be steered, is because you're either going to be operating in default or deliberate mode. Now, let's talk about 2024 for a minute, okay? How did you use your power of intention? Think about that for me, guys. How did you use your power of intention? Drop something in the chat if you can write. You may be listening to this and driving, but if you can write, drop something in the chat. How did you use your power of intention deliberately in 2024? In 2024, did you actually spend time thinking about the direction that you want your life to go in outside of when things may have been going, to hell in a handbag? When things are going well or just regular, how many times did you actually think about the power of the intention that you have within you? For me, it was pretty consistent, largely because I'm talking about it all the time. But then there were these other moments when I'm doing my reflections. There were these moments where my energy and my focus was not where I needed it to be, but I didn't even realize it was like a complete blind spot. And I'm wondering if, as we prepare for an intentional way of being in 2025, if you guys are present to where your blind spots may be existing in this current moment. Are you present to where your blind spots are existing in this current moment? And when I talk about blind spots, these are the places where you may not be getting the outcomes that you want. You're trying, you're working at it. You maybe even have some goals written down. But for some reason, you cannot crack the code. You cannot seem to take it to a level where you feel that joy and that satisfaction that, yes, I'm moving in the direction that I want. 2024 for me was somewhat of a continuation of transition. I feel like I've been doing transition mode for a minute, and a lot of that transition has been career. It's like once my love life was settling in, and once I had kind of figured out what I wanted to do with my health and my wellness, and figured it out to some extent, but just not necessarily exercising it the way I literally term exercising it. But it wasn't just like totally off kilter. I was still, eating well and doing those kind of things. But you see, in the space of career, I made a huge transition. Last year was my second full year of entrepreneur. And I can tell you something, guys, that I was stretched in ways that I don't know that I even could imagine. And at the same time, while I was being stretched, I was also just seeing all these different opportunities. One of the things that happened with me and came up as a strong reflection point was I had made up my mind that I was going to rebuild my life in Atlanta, because many of you who probably following me for a while, I even did vlogs about it from 2021 until, this year I was talking about giving different examples about the Atlanta thing, and sometimes I would be broadcasting from where my home was there. And at the end of the year in 2023, I actually had an accident. I fell down the stairs and really hurt my foot badly, my right foot. I had to get a boot, and I was in the boot for 2 months. My all try to short circuit the boot and take it off early, and the doctor put me in it for longer. And guys, let me tell you something. What ended up happening was a slowing down of a lot of the things that I had put in motion for my life, for my move to getting things back going in Atlanta. And along with that came a lot of guilt and a lot of shame thoughts, because Stacey don't learn quietly, Stacey don't live quietly. Stacey lives out loud and learns out loud. My LinkedIn, all you can see where I had actively started to move. On my LinkedIn profile, you can see where I had actively started to re-engage with my Atlanta network. I was building up my connections, and I mean, I lived in Atlanta for most of my life. When I was a kid, I left Jamaica, and I went and I thought I was going to be reconnecting with Atlanta in a much more powerful way. I started the process because I don't usually have ideas and then it's just an idea. That's just not me. Like when I have an idea, guys, I go in, and after spending 2021, 2022, 2023, 3.5 years, several thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars going back and forth between Atlanta and my home in Kingston, Jamaica, traveling, creating connections, signing up for all different kinds of job opportunities. After doing all of that efforting, right around April, I started to see where, maybe this is not going to work out. And I can tell you guys that when the reality started to set in, it felt debilitating. Partly because it was something that I was really thinking was going to work, like this strategy of building my company in the US was going to work because, doing business in Jamaica, as much as they say it's easy. Yes, there's things that can be different. Okay, let's just put it that way. Let's be nice. Let's just put it that way. Things could be different for building business in Jamaica. Okay. So I was really excited. I was really excited about having my entrepreneurial journey unfold in the US. And that was part of it. And then the other part was really the fact that I had started putting things in motion, set up a lot of things in place. I was very public about it. And so I start to know the thoughts. You guys know what thoughts I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. Your thoughts start to plant seeds. The thoughts start to plant seeds that are saying that because this isn't looking like it's going to work out, then you're a failure. Because this isn't happening in the way that you thought it would, it can't happen for you again. Because your life plan that you had worked on, and because you spent all this money on this plan and it never worked, you shouldn't spend no more money on any more plans. Let me tell you something, guys. The reason I teach this stuff is because I live it every single day, and I recognize how much I have learned that I can actually support you with. So between May and this broadcast, I have been actively working on my mindset and transforming the way that I'm thinking about building a company. And when I say actively now, I'm talking about just whenever I'm setting my intentions, whenever I'm writing in my journal, whenever I'm having thoughts, I have to be consistently flipping those thoughts, right? So just recognizing that you are not alone in how your thoughts will literally feel like they are attacking you. When you look at your past, look at investments you have made, look at things that you have believed for, whether it's in love. Some of we have believed for love. Some of us believing for babies. Some of us believing for a new job, that career, that thing that you're waiting for. Some of us believing for that company that you want to start, or you start and you're believing for funding. Some of us believing for health and fitness and for the hot body and the turn up body and all the bodies. Some of us believing for that bank account that make you stop feel the pressure when you're going to the store, or when Christmas is coming, or when your grandmother needs some kind of support to go to the doctor. And when you're believing for it and it's not showing up in your reality, and your mind starts to take you down the backward spiral and say, well, you know, you've been believing for this for a while and maybe you should just give up. Maybe you should just, But I'm here to tell you that the power of intention says that everything is always working out for you. Everything is always working out for you. The power of intention also says that once you can visualize it, once you can put your energy behind it, then ultimately it must come to fruition. So I had to really start to examine, what is it that I'm actually trying to manifest? What is it that I'm actually trying to create with this company? Does it matter if I am in Kingston, Jamaica, if I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm in Miami, Florida, if I'm in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, right? If I'm in London, England, does it actually matter where I am in the achieving of this build out of this company? Is that what I'm after? Is the intention about being in Atlanta? Is that the intention, or is the intention to have a particular life experience? So I had to start to examine, based on my reflection, I had to start to examine, well, what exactly is it that I am trying to create? Because this is sometimes, guys, sometimes we get lost in the things that will get us to the outcome that we desire. Let me say that again. Sometimes we get lost in the things that will get us to the outcome that we desire. And when life is giving you the outcome that you desire, it may not come through the things that you think it's going to come through. I must be preaching to myself today. I felt that one. I'm going to say it a different way. How many times have you been working towards something? Like, can I use me as an example? How many times was Stacy working towards this epic love relationship? I did all the things, folks. Okay. I read the books. I took courses. When I say course, I mean pay my money, and invest in a person, a course creator, and take a group course with a bunch of different people. I did things like empty the drawer, because there was one book I was reading that it was giving you all these different practices to create space to welcome the love of your life. And I did create space. I had empty drawer in my chest. I stopped putting stuff on the bed. Like I used to sleep with my laptop and those kind of things on the bedside. Yeah, stop doing that. Clean up the bed, make sure the other side of the bed empty, right? In the closet, I left an entire part of the closet empty, and that's a big deal for me, okay? Because I really thought I was going to be a model in my next life. So when I tell you that I had stuff in my closet, so when the imaginary man that don't debout and was not anywhere to be seen, wasn't around, and I was looking in my closet with this very big long thing for how long, right? And this was something that I was doing all these different practices for a little while. It was years because I got divorced in 2015 and I didn't start actually dating my current love partner until late 2019. Late 2019, right? So I was doing all these things and then I got a coach, got a man coach. I've told that story. Got a man coach. And the man coach I actually got was in 2019. And can I just tell you that I was in the midst of all of that, doing all this dating and going out. And, I was like, okay, maybe I need to get on the Tinder platforms. I was trying all these different things. And I kept saying, but I want it to be easy. I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want all these bad dates. I don't want all this da 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 da. And when my current love partner, when my honeyboo came into my life, it was completely off my radar. First of all, he was a friend and he had friend zoned me from the first time we reconnected. He had friend zoned me from the first time we reconnected. He was like, yeah, I'm going through some stuff and I just wanted somebody that I could trust to talk to who's been through some stuff too. And, la la la. Then the man hotting and I'm like sitting there looking like, you want to talk? I'm like, what is this? But that's what I'm saying to you guys. What I was actually after a meaningful love relationship, one that was going to allow me to be who I am and allow me to expand in a way that I don't know, that I never thought I could, allow me to experience romance on a level that was beyond anything I could ask for or even imagine. And when I finally started to let go of the controlling the way that it's supposed to look, that's when the relationship started to take off. And it was not in the way I thought I wanted it. So I was doing all the things I thought I needed to do, but I was more invested in the things I was doing than I was in the intention that I had set for myself and for the love life that I was creating. Are you getting what I'm saying? So as you go through and do your reflection, right? As you go through and do your reflection, I want to just invite you to look at the outcome that you're trying to create for yourself instead of the ways that you're going to get to the thing that you're trying to create. So many of you are thinking about money. Money is another very strong area that people have a lot of attachment to. People will spend a lot of money trying to figure out. People will invest money that they don't have so they can learn how to make more money. Yeah? You understand? And so what I want to say to you guys is you want to try instead to focus on the outcome that you are creating. The outcome is not the X amount of dollars in the bank. I know you think that's what it is, but that's actually not what it is. The outcome that you are trying to create is peace of mind, is the ability to pay your bills with ease. It's the flexibility to travel and to see the world. That's what you're trying to create. And money is one path to that, but it is not the only path. Do you know how many trips I went on in 2024 completely without me spending a dime? And several, and at least I can think of at least one trip where I had just finished buying a new property and paying a whole bunch of university fees for my kids. And there was literally no money left at that time for anything else except probably to buy myself a cup of coffee so I feel good. And can I tell you that I took a trip at the exact same moment, first class, traveling, went to the hotel, never even have to pull out a card, had dinner and breakfast and everything paid for me every day. And no, this was not with my man. This was a business trip, but it was not on my radar. It was not in my plans. And I did not have to spend, I think I spent maybe $8. And the $8 that I spent was because I had to take Uber and I had some money in my Apple Pay that helped me to do that. Can you imagine? So what I'm saying to you is that as you are thinking about your past, when you're doing your reflections exercise, which is the first part, you're going to reflect, right? And you're going to ask yourself the questions. How did I use my power of intention well? Then you're also going to ask yourself the question, how did I not use my power of intention? Where were there places where I could have used my power of intention better? Where were there places that I could have used my power of intention better? So I see somebody in the comments, I see Ray here saying, I used it negatively by doubting myself. Well, that's interesting that you phrase it that way. I used it negatively by doubting myself. So here's what I want you to distinguish. Your intention is never going to be to doubt yourself, right? Your intention is always going to be the next level for your highest self. So maybe there's a default operating system that's at play, and that is what is firing up the self-doubt. So what needs to happen then is a clear intention needs to be set for creating confidence and self-assertion. A clear intention needs to be set for stepping into more powerful self-love. A clear intention needs to be set for trusting yourself and loving yourself more, knowing that you can get to where you need to get to. Right? And that will essentially give you something to look forward to. So the fact that you've actually identified that there were moments of doubt in your year where you were doubting yourself, that self-doubt, it's the perfect opportunity for you to actually jot down for 2025. I know that I'm going to be addressing self-doubt. Okay? All right, guys. So the past we talked about that reflection. We talked about getting into that space of looking back and making sure that you're asking yourself the question. Now, as you are doing that, you're going to come upon things that aren't going to feel as good. And remember, when we started our conversation today, we talked about not getting sucked into that downward spiral. Like, nobody wants to be in a downward spiral. Okay? Let's not get stuck in the downward spiral. All right? So what I want you to do now is, as you are thinking through all the different things that happened in the course of the year, where you were using your power of intention, where maybe it is that you could have used it better, right? I want you to think about, boy, the things that you're really grateful for. Now, why are we doing the gratitude part? The gratitude piece is critical. The gratitude piece is critical because when you are looking at those valley moments are going to feel a little down. It's going to feel dark. It's going to feel like you're in a valley. You know, I mean, that's what it is. It feels like it's in a valley. Okay? Got that. Now, when you are in that valley mode, gratitude is one of the simplest and easiest ways to actually lift yourself out of it. And it's helpful to have more than one thing that you're grateful for, but if it's even just one. For me, I like to say the default gratitude thing is that you have life and breath in your body. So you have that. If in that moment, guys, because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you just feel like you don't really want to even say you're grateful for nothing. Like sometimes that's just where you are. No judgment. And at the same time, you always have this one thing that you can be grateful for, and that's life and breath. So from the mere fact that you are alive and feeling the breath of life pass through your body, then you know that you have another chance. And it could be another chance at just experiencing joy, deep contentment. You don't want to get stuck and lost in all the list of things that you have on your list of things that you did not get to actually create for yourself. Because when you start to get lost in that list of things, then that is where now you run into the problems and you're staying in the valley moments and you get stuck and you're just not really feeling the momentum that you want to feel, right? So what I'm going to suggest is this is a way to move you into that present moment, because it's three things that I like to look at as we're setting our intentions for the year ahead. You look at your reflections, your past area, of your life where you need to be doing things differently, okay, and then the things that you may have been able to celebrate. So when you think about gratitude, I don't want you to just think about the things that went well. right? I also want you to think about the things that didn't go so well and how grateful you are for those things. Like I remember, let me see here. I actually wrote in my journal because I'm doing the same exercise you guys doing, guys. Like I literally wrote in my journal some things I'm grateful for. Yeah. And this is literally I do this right before I actually come and do this work with you guys. So January 1st, by January 1st for sure, I definitely want to make sure that I'm doing this work. Okay. So I have here, I'm grateful that I was able to navigate unconscious leadership. What does that mean, Stacy? Okay, so I'm an entrepreneur, and a huge part of the work that I do is with clients, right? And what part of the work that I do with my clients is I typically deal with a lot of leaders and senior leadership teams and a lot of persons who are in high stress situation, right? And what tends to happen when you're in those high stress situations is that you just have a lot of people, places, and things that are not necessarily operating from the same place in their mind that you are operating, right? And when you're in this space where you're dealing with other people, because that's what life is, right? Life is an environment of literally dealing with other people. And so I really want to express to you that a lot of times that's going to affect you. That whole situation with other people in your space is going to affect you. Okay? And when you're being affected by other people, I want you to know that you have the power in that moment to be grateful for whatever it is these persons are teaching you. You can be grateful for the difficult people and what they're actually teaching you in your life at that moment. Okay? So so what I'm asking you to do, guys, is look for not just the happy moments and things to celebrate. You definitely want to do that and put gratitude stuff down for that. And then you also want to definitely do the things that maybe were a bit of a challenge that you want to be grateful for also. So I have that. And then I talk about grateful. I was able to spend so much quality time with my girls. So I wrote down some of the things that grateful for new strategies for handling people drama. Like literally, okay, people drama. Okay. So I was literally able to write down the things that I was grateful for that were not great. And you don't have to get poetic with it. Just be real. It's your stuff, right? Just be real with yourself. Okay. All right, guys. So we've talked about kind of 2021 and the theme for 2021, which was the power of intention. We've used it to help us with how we think about how we were living in the past year. And now as we think about the future, we are thinking about, how we're going towards 2025. We're in 2025 now. We really want to start thinking about how we're going towards the year and the intention that we're going to be using as we go towards the year ahead. Okay? So, do your gratitude exercise. I actually did a hope jar because one of the things that came up was around feeling hopeful. So, I made a hope jar, right? And my hope jar was just filled with little messages. And funny enough, this one was literally just hopeful, 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 hopeful. So you don't have to get poetic with it, guys. Sometimes you can just literally write what you are desiring to feel. You can just write that down, what you're desiring to feel. Which for me, I just wanted to feel hopeful and to remind myself of that feeling. So I just literally wrote down hopeful, 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 and drop it in the jar. And then on another day, like how I just pulled it out a while ago to show it to you guys, another day I can just pick out the item. So whether it's a gratitude jar or a hope jar or just writing down in your journals or on your year of intention guide what you're grateful for, it's a great way to support yourself. Okay? Great way to support yourself. And if you have any questions, guys, this is the time, we're live. I know some of you are on, so you can actually drop questions if you have things that you want to clarify. Maybe there are areas of your life that you want to get some kind of answer for, right? You can go ahead and drop it in the chat at this time. Okay? All right. So we've talked about reflecting, going to the past, looking at where you could use your power of intention because it's always there for you, and being more deliberate as opposed to more in default. Okay. And now we're going to shift and talk about the present. And this is where we like to look at ourselves through an objective lens. I think sometimes we end up beating up ourselves because we're looking at our lives, but we're not being so objective about it, right? We're not being as generous with ourselves the way we are with others. And this is where I actually want to grab my either my book that I have it written in. So this is the workbook. I printed it off just to make sure that you guys could actually get it. I did drop the link in the chat, but there's a particular part of it that's really important, right? So this section of your workbook where you're actually going in and you are now actively doing the work around rating yourself. The reason why this is important, guys, is because you want to be objective. I don't know if you're like me, but when I start to talk about myself, it's usually all the things that are not happening or that I'm not doing that I start to talk about first, right? And so what I'm suggesting is that instead of beating up yourself, right? Instead of beating up yourself, don't do that. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to get this very objective way of ranking what would be considered a healthy way of living, a healthy way of experiencing the four corners of life. So let's look at this one. Love and relationships is the page that is printed here. And then there is spirituality and growth. And it's really very simple, guys. It's 10 statements. And then you're just asked to rank yourself from 1 to 5 against the statement. So you don't have to be there like twiddling and trying to figure out, oh my God, I'm so horrible at this. No, it's not that. You're literally going to just go through and you're going to read. I feel deeply connected to my partner emotionally and physically. If you don't have a partner, that's a 1. If you feel that way, and it's a good, we're in sync, it's a 5. Right? So you can literally go through and just self-rank. It is for you. You're self-ranking. Okay? Another question on the love and relationships. I am not currently holding resentful feelings for anyone. Some of us need to check that. Some of us think that because we don't sit down and gossip about people, that means that everything is good with people. But then we're like, yeah, me not talk about she, but Lord, she's horrible. Me can't stand her. Me not talk to she because of whatever she did from when. So maybe you're not gossiping, but you literally have this seed germinating inside that is a resentment seed because of what this person may have done however many years ago. Right? And so you want to make sure that you're checking yourself against these very objective questions. There is a spot in there that is around career, right? And for many of us, myself included, career is a huge focus right now. And don't feel like if it was a focus in 2024, it can be a focus this year. Career was a focus for me in 2024, and it's going to be a focus for me in 2025 because it's just an area of mastery in entrepreneurship that I'm still working at. And there are new things that I want to do that I'm trying to create. So the reason why this is important is because when you are in your now experience, it's really good for you to gauge where you are. You're sat here, and a lot of times we spend so much time thinking about all the things that aren't great, that are in the past, that we don't recognize how much we actually have going for us. And then sometimes, guess what happens? You think you know the part of your life that need work. You think you know most times. And a lot of times, you think you know the part of your life that needs work because you actually feel a lot of pain in that area of your life, right? So for a long time, I feel that I focused very heavily on love and relationships because I was so lonely and just really sad about not being with a person. And I shouldn't say not being with a person because I was dating, but being with somebody that was aligned with my mental and spiritual focus, right? So what you could look at, guys, is yes, I may be feeling pain in this area of my life, but where else am I denying my greatness? What are the blind spots that my epic intentionality should be supporting me with? Yeah? So as you're going through, I really want you to just think about and look towards the ways that you can rank yourself, do the self ranking as I showed you, and then total it up. And what you want to do, guys, is for many of us, when we do vision boards and those kind of things, we step into dream mode. And sometimes we leave behind the parts of our lives that actually need the work. So when you go through and you do the additions and you total up, right? If you get the digital workbook, it actually totals up for you as you check off, right? So you want to download the digital workbook, right? As you check off, look at where your score is really low and don't ignore it. Don't just be like, boy, I say I'm going to buy myself a new car this year, so the wealth have to turn up and I'm going to focus on one bag of money. And then over here in spirituality and growth, you're suffering. You're at like a 10 when you should be at a 30 or a 35 or even 25, halfway there, right? So if your spirituality and growth area, your inner self, is not doing so well, right? Then maybe you want to pay attention to that because that could also be affecting your money. That's why I'm actually saying to you, do the ranking and pay attention to the areas that are low in number because you don't actually know how those hidden things, those blind spots, are actually creating a challenge for you in achieving the things that you want, the bling up things. Bling up. You like my vocabulary? Oh my gosh. Okay. So what we're expecting to happen, guys, is as you become more present to the areas of your life that you really want to focus on, these areas are going to be helping you to pull together the fuel that you will need for the journey ahead. So that fuel that you need is going to be ultimately what helps you to manifest, that helps you to actually get that grit, that extra pull, extra push that you need when you're going through those challenging moments. It is what will help you to start to define more clearly for yourself the things that you are actually trying to create. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to the way that you are now using the power of intention and aligning what you're trying to create for the future. All right. So when we talked about the historic things that we did as a part of the year of intention and just doing this live stream like several times for over the last few years, we talk about that 5-year anniversary. We talk about making sure that you understand your past so that you can get clear on where you're not using your power of intention. And now we just talked about this present piece. And I actually don't necessarily need to spend a ton of time in present, right? I don't need to spend a ton of time in present because ultimately what my desire for you is to do the ranking and to get clear on where you are today. Once you've actually gone through and done that ranking, guys, you should start to feel that spark, that energy that says, wow, I have so much opportunity available for me to explore my greatness. That's ultimately what I want you guys to be thinking about. I have so much opportunity to explore my greatness. Look at how much I have available to me in love and relationships. If I really start to actually think about myself and how I can be in the spiritual space, how I can be better connected to my inner self and my inner light. Wow, can you imagine what I could unlock in my life? These are the kind of conversations I want you to start having with yourself. Yeah? Start having the conversation that helps you to move beyond your present state. So while yes, it's good for you to take a clear picture and not get stuck while you're in the picture, it is equally important for you to pump up yourself. You have to become your own personal hype man. You have to, start to recognize, say, yes, I'm starting out and I'm starting out fresh and I feel real good about it. Right? If you're using your intention cards, one of the great intentions that is there is I appreciate the now. It's a beautiful card. I'm actually going to put the intention in the chat. I appreciate the now and I acknowledge it as the best time of my life. And I'm sharing that one in particular because every moment, every morning, even when it's tough, I appreciate the now moment. You have a now moment. You know how much people don't have a now moment? They have left us. So appreciate the now moment because even when things aren't great, it's still an opportunity for you to move forward in your life. So you're going to go through this process of looking at the different parts and rating yourself. Okay. And be generous. I would say be generous to yourself as you're rating yourself, but be honest. This is your assessment, yours. So not being honest with yourself does not help anybody. Okay. Being honest with yourself is what helps. All right. And as you go through and you finish doing the totals, as I said, pull out the low ones and decide that you want to do something in an area where the score is low. Pick one of the areas where the score is below 25, below 20. If all your areas are above 30, oh, that's wonderful. Then pick the lowest one and make sure that you're paying some attention to it. Some attention to it is what I'm asking you to do. Okay? You also want to look for patterns. So if you notice, for example, in my health and wellness space, if you notice patterns in health and wellness, I notice patterns. Anything that does not equal yoga or some kind of slow, easy kind of exercise, it just don't happen. We just don't cross it. So I may be very flexible and I may be able to do plank in yoga class, but when it comes to the strength training and the endurance and all that, no, right? And I notice that is something that consistently shows up in my life. Look for the patterns, guys. Look for the areas where you're seeing patterns. Okay? You're seeing patterns of how your life is showing up in a way that does not serve you. All right? Now, the final thing that you're going to do in this present moment, because we're all here together, I'm so excited. We're all here together and you have this present moment. One of the things that I want you guys to do is to think about, now that you've taken some time, you look back at your past, you're thinking about it. What exactly is it that you want for this year? What do you want? You may be very readily able to talk about all the things that don't go well. And you may even be in the habit, look out for this one, you may even be in the habit of saying, I really want to have a better career experience in 2025 because my boss this, my business that, my business partner that, and every time, and then before you know it, you've literally spent less than 10 seconds saying what you want and 5 minutes complaining about why you want it. you're actually negating your ability to manifest the things that you want because you're spending far more time focusing on the part of it that you don't like. And I know we all do it because I do it too. I literally just caught myself doing it the other day in a very powerful way. I was complaining in a blind spot kind of approach about earning revenue in my business. And it didn't seem like a complaint because I felt like I was rationalizing, like I was talking through it. But 3 conversations with 3 people later, I'm like, but wait, this is a pattern that is emerging. Why do you keep talking about this? This is a complaint. This is not rationalization. This is not you trying to connect the dots and actually understand. No, you are actually complaining. And what happens when you complain? When you complain, you're literally creating more of the thing that you are complaining about. You know why? Because complaining requires focus. You can't complain and be hopeful. And so when I realized that I was complaining about the way that the business was earning revenue, I said, no, just shut up, Stacey. Just shut up. Just stop talking. Can we just stop talking? That's all I did. I just told myself to shut up about it. No, I'm going to have to sit down and I'm going to have to spend some time and actually go through. That's why I'm doing this. I have to spend some time and go through and write down all the different ways that I actually want to change the way that the business earns revenue. And I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to do that. What do I want to be true for me? What do I want the outcome of the revenue to be? Because it's not the revenue that I'm after. It is after what the revenue is going to give me. See how we tie that back together? Okay. When you are thinking about the year ahead, I want you to think about it in as pure a way as possible, as though you can create anything you want, because you actually can. I've seen it done so many times, countless times. If you guys follow any content creator on social media, you will see them reinvent themselves all the time. I don't even buy into this whole New Year same me story that people talk about, because nothing about life stays the same. Nothing about life stays the same. So you're either stagnant and getting more embedded in old habits and behaviors, right? But that is the change that's occurring. The change that's occurring is a negative change. Or you're moving forward and shifting gears to higher and higher levels. So this whole thing, there's no new year, new me, it's the same me. No, it's not. You are evolving. It's whether you want to evolve better or you want to evolve less than where you currently are, lower than your current ability and capability, less than the opportunity that life has given to you. So set an intention for the year, guys. This is your chance. You can choose a word or a phrase that embodies your core intention for the year. I'll share mine. My intention, my word for the year is momentum. I've actually been sharing it since last year because the Mindful Momentum Challenge, which is coming up right after Intention Day on January 6th. So come Monday, I'm starting a 21-day challenge. I hope you join, right? So you want to actually use the time now to think about, what do I want? What do I want? What does that mean to me? What does 2025 really hold for me? What is it? Peace? It could be peace. Sometimes people don't want to say peace because they feel like, well, I want to be prosperous, I want to be productive, and if I'm trying to be productive and prosperous, I'm not going to get there from peace. But I want to tell you, you can have peace of mind and contentment, and you can be productive. It's just how you think about it. So let go of the perception that you can't set an intention for yourself. Let go of the perception that this stuff doesn't work anyway. Let go of any perception that could stand in the way of you stepping to the next level of your highest self. Just let it go. Just let it go. It's not going to serve you. It doesn't serve your thoughts, and it doesn't serve your actions and your behaviors. All right? Now, For some people, they can't necessarily think of a word or a phrase, but they can pick a song. Like there's a song about this year, blessings upon me, that whole song, right? Um, Blessings are gonna follow me. That is a song that is literally one that people choose as their intention song for the year. I haven't quite chosen one yet. Last year it was Unstoppable. Yeah, Unstoppable was my song for last year, and it was one that I played at different points in time, especially when things got really difficult. This is Unstoppable by Sia, not the dancehall one. I know there's a dancehall one. And what I will say is that there were different times in the course of the year where that song literally pulled me through some really tough moments, because I cry and I sing, because I was like, I have to believe in myself. I have to believe that I'm unstoppable despite everything that I may be seeing around me. Right? So you have an opportunity to create the context, the conditions within which you can birth your transformation. And that starts with the outlook you have for the year, the theme song you want for the year, the phrase you want to use for the year. And the final thing I'm going to tell you to jot down, guys, which is something I'm using heavy in 2025, I'm using progress partners. I am better obliger than I am an individually accountable person. And what that means is I am better at getting things done in the harder areas, the areas of my life that I am less disciplined. I do better when I have somebody else that's in the mix. So when it comes to health and wellness, I'm going to tell you guys, in the health and wellness space, I have literally already gotten 3 accountability partners. 3 accountability partners for individual activity. And then I enrolled all my children and my love partner. So that's 4 people in a challenge, a fitness challenge for the year. And we'll have an app, and we're going to be in groups. I have to wear our Apple Watch. I did a whole thing because I got so tired of seeing physical fitness on my area of low score for like the last 3 years. I was like, no, Stacey, shame, no. Well, not shame, because we don't deal in shame, right? But I was just like over it. I was done. I was like, I need something that is going to ignite my fire and get me going. Now, if we're talking about health and wellness, something that I'm using to ignite my fire is I've given myself a deadline of April 27 to have my body in a particular state. I won't necessarily be all the way there because it is a 1-year plan to get into the habits and so forth. But April 27 is Carnival in Jamaica. And Stacey Hines has signed up herself to go jump Carnival with her children, her daughters in particular. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going out there and go drop them on the people them road because me never do my exercise. So not only have I put in partners, I have literally given myself a hard date. I can tell you guys, I would have spent this $1,500 or $2,000, and if I did not satisfy myself and my intention, I'm not going on the people them road. I'm not going on the people them road at all. The road would have to be there, and all of the bands and everybody singing, and I would not be out there. I am not doing it unless I have been hitting my targets. Okay. All right. So for some of us, guys, it is accountability partners, or what I call progress partners, because it really is about helping you to make progress. I want to be your progress partner this year. And that's one of the reasons why I set up this YouTube channel, because I just found that I wasn't getting the kind of traction that I wanted on Instagram. So I said, all right, let me put this someplace where people go to get that type of learning, that kind of teaching all the time. So this year, 2025, I'm also committing myself to being a more effective content creator so that I can share and teach more of these principles. And so I have a very big accountability group, right? I have over 800 subscribers now. It's moving along little by little. I'm so excited. But I'm looking forward to having each of you as my accountability partners. I will show up for you. I will show up for you, even if I'm not showing up for myself. Okay? So Get to thinking about your intentions, and now, as we use those powerful thoughts, we're going to move into the future self. Because the future self planning is where it all lines up. And when you're thinking about your future self, I don't want you to think about every single area of your life that need fixing because I'm going to fix it in 2023. No, that's not what's going to happen. There is a page that is actually about the commitment that you're going to be making to yourself. But before you get to the commitment, you're going to choose your top three. You know, I always do the top three for me. It's the same way I start my week. It's the same way I start every day. The first three things on my list are the top three things I need to complete, right? What are the top three areas of your life that you're going to work on in 2025? Okay, so notice it says category 1, category 2, category 3. Think about the three areas that either the areas that you rank low on, or maybe it's not a low ranking area, maybe it's a high ranking area, but you have a dream of taking it to another level. That's okay too. It's not like you have to fix everything that seems broken. No, you don't have to do that. Right? So, what I want you to do as you're writing down these different categories, right? Just see what, if you can imagine for yourself what it would feel like if you could master this area. Like my same health goal that I'm telling you guys about, what I'm actually doing with that is I am literally seeing myself posing in my carnival costume. It's probably the most I can literally see, that's why my eyes are closed, right? I can literally see myself posing for the pictures with my daughters in the carnival costume. And I'm like, hey, Ray, yeah, you know, like, I can literally feel what that would feel like. And it's like this inner energy. It's like this inner spark that you get. And what this will allow you to do is it allows you to take all the things that you are looking at in your past, right? It allows you to take that and it allows you to look at your scores and things and just decide that you are now going to radiate at a different level. So you spark that inner light by looking at your life in a non-judgmental way, by doing that reflection work in a way that is going to actually embolden you. It's going to spark the opportunity that is within. Right? And you see me, I actually went and got my matches because I said, you know, when we get to this part where we start to think about our future self and our year ahead, I want to make sure that I'm being very visual with the sparking, right? So I have matches. You see how that spark just kind of goes off and it out? But you see, when a match sparks, it goes through a lighting process, right? And then you're going to use that now to fuel your inner self, your inner light. You're going to use the spark of discovering areas in your past that you want to change, discovering those value modes, that reflective piece. You're going to use that to spark your inner light. And that inner light is going to be fuel for your journey. That's what it is. The spark is meant to be fuel for something. A lot of you probably out there feeling like you're sparking, and you're not going no further. It's because you are not applying the power of intention to your journey. You're not aligning your energy with that power. You have to move past the spark part. You can't spark and not light something. If you don't light anything, there's no fuel. You have to light it up. Light up your inner self. And if you have to keep coming back to this video to get that light sense, then do it. But whatever it is you need, whatever it is that gives your spark long-lasting light so that you can have fuel for the journey, guys. That's what you need to keep doing. So if it's a meditation, if it's affirmation cards, If it's lives and shorts and webinars and things that you can listen to while you're driving, audiobooks, stories, whatever it is, find the different supporting tools that are going to fuel your journey. So every category that you put on this list should be a spark, the fuel for your journey. You should be able to visualize and feel that energy, feel that fuel. And most importantly, you should be able to trust yourself while you are choosing the areas of focus. You can't get it wrong, guys. We spend so much time thinking, you have to figure it out and you have to know what you're doing. You can't get it wrong. As long as you have life and breath in you, you cannot get it wrong. You can only get another chance to get it right. There is no get it wrong. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your choices. I learned a lot of lessons this year from having to let go of a path I thought I was going to take to get to my outcome. But I know I'm going to get to my outcome because everything is always working out for me. So you have to get to a place where the things that you choose to work on in your life, these categories, when you're visualizing it, when you're thinking about it, that it sparks that it takes the spark beyond just being a spark and it starts to fuel the journey. Because ultimately you want to be radiating at a level where people see you and they're like, oh, it's something different. You look bright, you're glowing. Things look like, how's life? Things going well for you? You seem to be more positive these days. People always have what they have to say, right? But you yourself, I am now in a place where I wasn't before. I can walk into the bathroom and I can look myself in the mirror. And when I see myself in the mirror, I smile. And I'm just so happy to see myself. And I can tell myself I'm beautiful. Oh, you're going to have a great day. Those are the best days when I can literally, process my days to start like that. Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to make sure that you guys do as a part of this process is I want to make sure that you write out your commitment to your future self. Last year, I started to explore the Dear Self letters. It's something that I actually learned from Alex Elle. I'd seen it before, but when I say I learned it from Alex Elle, I actually joined a writing mastermind with her, and she would do Dear Self letters in all of the sessions. And I really appreciated it because I thought to myself, I wonder if I had been writing Dear Self letters all along, if I would have been able to look back and see the commitments to myself that I kept. Here's a secret, guys. None of this work that you're doing is for anybody else. All of this work that you're doing is for you. Every iota of this work that you're doing is for you. Ultimately, it's for you. And so it's very important for you to commit to yourself. And you will know when that commitment is in place because you're going to start to show up differently for yourself. Like I have recommitted to my morning routines, and I recommitted to it. I think it was it October? Either September or October. I recommitted to my morning routines because I just observed this pattern of me putting the snooze button on. I did not want to get out of bed. I was feeling lethargic and just lazy. Alarm going off and I'm snoozing. Snooze. No, I don't even want the alarm to go off. I want to just get up. I want to go to my bed with my mind in a particular direction. I want to go to sleep and feel good about myself. And I want to wake up, and when I get conscious, I want my thoughts to be towards my highest self. I want my thoughts to be about my intention for the year. I want my thoughts to be that song that I am leaning into for my greatness for 2025. And so I decided that I was going to shift my morning routine, and it's actually far more things now. I do way more things. I read now. If I used to necessarily read in the mornings, I would read, but not necessarily in the mornings. I mean, I have a full suite of things that I'm doing to get my day going. And whenever I'm able to knock off all the things, it's a wonderful day. And then other days, I knock off a few, and it's still a wonderful day. Some days I don't get to any, and it's not so great. This morning, I knocked off all the things, and I still jump on here, and YouTube was acting a hot mess. And I had to collect myself, right? So your morning routines are a way that you can help you to keep your commitment to yourself. A morning routine is also a way that you can identify that you are keeping your commitment to yourself. Because if you can keep that habit going, then there are other things that you can also set up for yourself and keep those going. So the Dear Self letter is to be written. I suggest using your hand or even recording it. I've recorded mine. I do it actually. Actually, I used to do it at my birthday. I used to record something to myself for my birthday on my phone. And now I have the Dear Self letter. I write it and then I record it because sometimes I just need to listen to it on the road and I don't have the piece of paper, I don't have my journal, and I need to listen to it. So I have it on my phone, right? Define for yourself the non-negotiables, the things that you're not willing to compromise in this letter. As you're writing to yourself, saying, boy, I'm just not willing to compromise that. Really get clear with yourself about what you want to commit to for 2025. Sometimes you may even find that after you write the Dear Self letter, after you write the letter, you may even find that you go back and change your categories or change your intention statement. Because when you spend that time with yourself, you realize that, boy, there are some things that I'm just not dealing with that I need to deal with. So what I've done through this system, this year of intention system, is I've given you 6 steps, and even in the 6th step, if you miss something in one of the steps, you have another step where you give it back active. And I have so many commitments that are wrapped up in doing this work with you guys that I'm telling you, Progress Partnership is on and popping for 2025. I looked back the other day and I couldn't believe that I had already done 1 year of tea time. And it's just something I love. I love to get up and come and talk to you guys on a Saturday morning about my life and about the tea and about the tea in the world and drink my tea and my coffee and all the things. So if as you're going through, you want that extra reinforcement, join a tea time every Saturday, 8:30 a.m., right? Join a tea time. And if tea time doesn't work for you, then you can always watch a short, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you have the support that you need in place. The community is here to support you. You cannot fail. Even if you feel like you're failing, you cannot fail, because life is either going to reward you with lessons or reward you with more life for the thing that you're working towards. You can't fail and you're never going to be done. So just knowing that alone, and that everything is always working out for you. Just knowing those things alone is enough fuel, guys. Now, there's one more thing that I'm going to share before I leave today, and that is how we're taking it to another level this 5th year anniversary. Every year I do Day of Intention Day, and I set up this time with you guys. This is the first year I'm challenging myself and I'm challenging my community to show up for yourselves for the month of January. Let's not let the spark fade like how my matches faded when I first lit it. Let's not let the spark that has been lit for you today fade as you move towards the end of the month. Do you know that 43% of persons who wake up with new intentions and resolutions and all that, 43% of them don't last until the end of the month? We're not about that life. We're not about that life. And what's going to be great about the challenge is that you'll be able to do it at any point in time. Even if you start it in the 2nd week, you can just get going. Every day there's going to be something for you to actually take away and use in your day-to-day life. And I designed it like that because I wanted to make sure that persons weren't just having a one-off experience with me. They weren't just having they come intention day and they feel good and then they're gone. No, I wanted to create something where I knew for sure that you were going to be experiencing exponential results, where I was going to be challenged to show up for you in a different way this year. And so I dropped the link in the chat again for you to sign up for the challenge. And basically, it's a very simple challenge. It's 21 days. And for each week of the 21 days, it's a different theme. So the first week is all about your morning. So building momentum with your morning routines. So we're going to start off with mindful mornings, and we're going to be doing that every single day for 7 days. So that's the first week, right? And the reason why I did the week by week design, guys, is because I wanted to make sure that you were not just coming and getting, or not sure of what you were getting at any point in time. I also wanted to make sure that as you were going through the process, right, that you would be able to jump in on the week that you need. Because maybe some of you have amazing morning routines. Maybe some of you don't really need the morning routine. Maybe you have that luck. So it's not really a morning routine that's an issue for you. It's really more so, like meaningful moments then. Maybe that's the thing, that's the thing for you. And so there's an entire week that's dedicated to creating meaningful moments to give yourself momentum as you go through the year, helping you to understand that every moment can actually be meaningful. So you're gonna get your mornings, you're gonna get your moments, and then you're gonna get your movement, because we want to make sure that as you are moving forward. Yes, I see somebody sign up. Yay, awesome, thank you. As you're moving through your process, right? You want to move, you want to be in the thick of things. You don't just want to be setting beautiful intentions and not doing nothing. No, we're going to act. We're going to have action. We're going to take our spark, candle still burning. See, that's what fuel does, folks. Right? You want to take all these beautiful things that you're doing and you want to put it in action so that you can actually create the life that you want. That's what I'm doing. That's why I created the challenge. I created the challenge so that we can grow and glow together. You are my progress partner. Okay? You're my progress partner in this. So sign up for the challenge, and that way we can keep our momentum going. Momentum is my word for the year. I'm happy for it to be yours, but it's not just regular momentum. We're taking mindful momentum, because having gone through significant illness, I know I'm not trying to create that in my future. That's not what I'm trying to do. I know that for my future, I want to create momentum in a way that is mindful. I want to have ease. I want to have peace of mind. I am going to avoid overwhelm, burnout, and stress and anxiety. So my momentum has to be mindful. Okay? So to conclude, guys, I want to say thank you for joining Intention Day 2025. I am here with you to help you spark what you need to spark up that inner light from your past, from your 2024 experiences. Use that spark, guys, to actually fuel the things that you're going to be working on during the course of the year. So you're going to get your Year of Intention workbook if you don't have it, right? I gave the link for that. Okay. Remember, it's digital. So you don't necessarily have to print it if you don't want to. It's digital. And as you're going through, you're going to get that spark going. And then once you go through and get the spark going, then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to get really frank with yourself. You're going to get present by rating yourself. Get present by rating yourself objectively. Don't be killing yourself and getting all downward spirally. No, you're going to rate yourself and then figure out where in your life you need to focus your effort and your energy. Don't just put up a big vision board and start dreaming into momentum and you really haven't actually done any work to see where in your life need work. Think about where in your life needs work and complement your big dreams that, maybe attached to tangible physical things. Complement that with other areas of growth. And once you have done that, set your intention. Look at your life. Be present with yourself. Set that intention so that you can fuel the spark. And once you have set your intention, guys, make sure that you put down a commitment to yourself. Put down a commitment to yourself for the life that you want to lead for 2025. So I will see you in the challenge. Thank you so much for joining. So many of you have been on until for over this hour. Thank you so much for joining, guys. And please share with people, share the YouTube channel, share with people to come on and watch. And I will see you either on tea time on Saturday, because there is going to be tea time on Saturday, or I will actually see you in the 21-day challenge starting on Monday. All right. Take care, everybody. Happy New Year. And be blessed and well intentioned. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye.